So what's the best strategy to cover the Union Budget 2020? Well, you have to start at the source. And what is the source? It is the website indiabudget.gov.in. So when you go to that website, you will be seeing two important things. One is the full budget speech, and the second one is the budget highlights. Now you can go ahead and take a look at the budget highlights, but I would not recommend it because it has a very condensed amount of information, and that will not do. You have to go and read the entire thing. But as you will see, the entire thing is about 72 pages long. So it will be very difficult for you to cover it in one sitting. What I will be doing is I will be putting out videos which will explain to you the important sections that you have to cover and the important things that you have to remember. So basically the budget is presented in two parts. It is presented in part A, where we have all of the main themes and we have about the governance and about the financial sector, etc., etc. And there is another thing called the part B, where we have the direct tax proposals and the indirect tax proposals. So for us, it is very important to cover it comprehensively. So the document that you can see in front of you, it is the full budget speech. And as you can see, part A, it contains the three central themes, which is aspirational India, economic development, and caring society. So these three things we have to cover. Now, as you can see, there are various sub themes to these things as well. So aspirational India, under it we have agriculture, irrigation and rural development. Then we have wellness, water and sanitation. And then finally we have education and skills. Now this is the entire thing for aspirational India. And when we go ahead to the economic development, we have the proposals for industry, commerce and investment. Then we have the proposals for infrastructure. Then we have the proposals for new economy. And after that we have the caring society, where we have proposals regarding the women, child and social welfare. Then we have the proposals about culture and tourism. And after that we have the proposals for environment and climate change. Now to wrap part A, we have governance proposals, and finally the financial sector. So the financial markets, infrastructure financing and disinvestment. And we also have the fiscal management, a little bit of it that is given to us in part A. So this is all about part A. Now what I want to do is I'll be making videos which will cover each and every part of the budget. Now the first thing that I will be making, it will be covering the aspirational India part. So that is something that you're going to see in the coming days, that I'll be covering the entire thing. So I'll start off with aspirational India, then I will be going over into economic development, caring society, etc., etc. Now that is all about part A. So after part A is done, we come to part B, and as you can see in part B, there are two main sections. So there are direct tax proposals and there are indirect tax proposals. So these are also things that we have to cover very comprehensively. So just to give you an idea, for direct tax we have personal income tax and simplification of taxation that we really need to understand. Then the dividend distribution tax, this has completely been abolished, and it's very important to know what is going to be the repercussions of those things. Then we have the concessional tax rate for electricity generation companies. As you know that the power generation companies and even the power distribution companies are having a lot of hard times, and the sector is actually performing very badly. So there were some SOPs announced for that sector. Then we have tax concessions for foreign investments, and the foreign investments, for them to take off, they need certain kind of concessions on their taxation, and that has exactly been laid out in this budget. Then we have the main norms for startups. A lot of SOPs have been provided. Then we have the things for cooperatives, MSMEs, affordable housing, real estate transaction, charity institutions. Then we have the faceless appeals. So this is basically about the income tax appeals, the direct tax appeals that used to happen, and how now they are going ahead with faceless appeals. So you do not have to go in front of an income tax officer. Earlier it used to be face to face, and there were a lot of corruption chances there. So the government is doing away with those things. Then there was a new scheme, the Vivad se Vishwas. So this is actually because there were so many tax disputes. The government wants to give people a chance so that these disputes can be easily cleared off. And then after all, we have the losses of the merged banks. So that is something that government is looking into. We also have something new in this year, which is the Taxpayers Charter, and this is some kind of a statute that the taxpayers will be given, like it will be adhered to, so that life can be easier for taxpayers. Then we have the instant PAN through Aadhaar, the announcements regarding that. And finally, we have the indirect tax announcements as well. So this is exactly the entire structure of the budget that I wanted to tell you. And I wanted to actually let you know how I am going to cover the entire budget. So you do not have to worry. You do not have to read through the entire thing. So you can listen to me and make notes at the same time, so that you can easily cover the budget without having to read through 72 pages of extremely dense text. So I hope that this series will be useful to you, and I will also be doing series on the recent Brexit which has been done. So that is also in the pipeline, and various other kinds of things are also in the pipeline. So keep following this channel and please subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.